Hello everybody and welcome to episode number 8 of The Dark Magician Journey, the finale. Before we get started on today's episode, I would like to take a second of my time and just say thank you to everyone for being here with me today. And for those of you who have watched since the very first episode, I'd like to give a huge thank you to you as well. Your support means everything to me, and it has encouraged me to keep making these style of videos, keep making montages, and keep making deck profile videos and other things of that nature. So definitely want to give a huge thank you to everyone that has followed me since the beginning. And if you're a new viewer for today, I highly encourage you to go back and watch episode 1 and just kind of marathon these 1 through episode 8, and I will have the link to episode 1 in the description bar below. Whenever I sit back and I try to think about things that I've learned throughout this journey, it's almost overwhelming to think about all of the things that I have taken in since I filmed that very first episode. We have accomplished so many of our goals, which includes winning our locals at Paradise Games in Mount Airy, top 4ing a large-scale locals, which we have done 3 times now. I was just going to be happy with doing that once. Learning all kinds of new card interactions. We do have a couple goals that we have not yet gotten to complete, as there are no IRL events currently. Those goals are to eventually be able to get our invite with Dark Magician, get a top 8 regional finish with Dark Magician, as well as a 10-day YCS, and at least make day 2 with Dark Magician. So those are going to be goals that are going to be revisited in the future of this journey. But I'm sure that you have had enough of my rambling by this part of the video, so we are going to show you guys my Dark Magician collection, which has been a segment that I have wanted to include in a video for quite some time now. So we're going to show you guys that today, as well as an updated Dark Magician deck profile that I have currently been testing with, and I will be playing at my locals this coming Sunday. This video I have set to be completed by next Wednesday, so I'll also put my progress for this Sunday's locals in that video as well. So, without further ado, I would like to once again welcome everyone to episode number 8 of the Dark Magician Journey. Thank you all for being here. So, starting off, you're going to see at the very top of the page that we have 3 copies of the Red Dark Magician, which is one of my all-time favorites. 1 copy of the Jump Dark Magician in the center. I'm actually missing the other 2 as they are currently in my deck. And on the bottom row, we have 3 of the original starter deck Yugi Dark Magicians. I am currently trying to find some first ed ones. Flipping over the page, looking at the top left corner, we have 3 copies of the Maximum Gold Dark Magicians. I don't play these much because they float through your deck. Beneath that, we have these secret rares from the 10 and the ultimate rares, which I'm not a huge fan of. I love the rarity, but I've always wished that they had picked any other artwork for these. I'm not a fan of this artwork that much. Going over to the right page at the very top, you will see that I have 3 of the original 2002 Collector 10 Dark Magician Secret Rare, as well as 3 of the dual power ones directly below there. Probably my least favorite artwork. And then at the bottom we have the Holy Grail. We have 3 of the very much wanted DDS Dark Magicians. My friend Justin Perkins actually gave me a great hookup on these cards. This has been a treasure. I never thought that I would own a single copy of this card, let alone own an entire playset. So, flipping over the page, we have 2 of the Duelist Saga ones. I'm still trying to find a third, as well as a Gold Secret and another Gold Rare. Then we have my 2 Dark Magician girls right next to there. It is noteworthy to mention that I do have the Anniversary Pack, the Lost Art, that is in my deck currently, as well as the 2002 Collector's 10 Secret Rare and the MFC Secret Rare. Then on the other page, we have some cards like Magician's Rod, Dark Magic Veil, Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer, and a couple copies of Dark Magician Girl the Dragon Knight, which I would like to point out the one in the center is actually a first edition secret rare Italian version of this card. I don't know if she'll ever really see much competitive play, but it was a card I really wanted to add to my collection, so I was lucky enough to be able to pick one up, as well as one of my favorite fusions, if not my very favorite fusion for the deck, Dark Paladin. This card brings back so much nostalgia for me. He's got a little bit of damage on him, but he's an older card, so what can you expect? Definitely always enjoy being able to pick up those old nostalgic cards like that. As well as cards like Magician's Valkyria, bring back a lot of good memories from my childhood. So, moving right along, we have Dedication Through Light and Darkness, Magician of Black Chaos, and Black Magic Ritual, and then we have the Chaos form of it, Demok. Going down, we have Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, Magician Navigation, and the Eye of Timaeus. These are actually the ultra rare versions. Going over to the other page, we have Thousand Knives, and this is actually a copy from the OCG. My good friend Tony Icon managed to find this in some of his bulk for me, as well as an OCG version of Dark Magic Curtain with the pentagram still in the middle of it. Definitely treasure these cards. They will be added to my collection for a very long time, and definitely enjoy these cards. So I'm going to move right along here. Oh, I've actually accidentally put them back in the wrong spot here. So next we have the normal cards that you will search off of, like Bond Between Teacher and Student, all the Dark Magician Girl cards that are included on that card. So we'll move right along here to the next page, and we have my copy of the Dark Magicians, my second copy. Dark Renewal, Red Eyes Flare Metal, the unofficial Dark Magician support, Magician of Chaos, Destined Rivals, and my other copies of Eternal Soul. And down here in the very bottom left corner are my secret rare versions of the Eye of Timaeus. Unfortunately, these do have some play on them. This is a very expensive card if you can manage to find them near mint. Mine are a little beat up, especially that one in the center has a relatively large crease in the back. Thankfully, it's not a card that you genuinely see played often. So, moving on to the other page is just some more generic Dark Magician support cards, such as extra copies of that of Dark Magic Expanded, Secrets of Dark Magic. One of my favorite cards that I wish was in the archetype Sorcerer of Dark Magic. We also have cards like Mysterion the Dragon Crown, Amulet Dragon, Dark Magic Inheritance, and Gaia the Dragon Champion, because why not? Yugi had it. The next page, we have some fusion cards. These are normally my targets for things like Dogmatic of Punishment, Waking the Dragon, and Super Polymerization. And speaking of polymerization, we actually have a first edition copy of the reprinted polymerization from the Duelist Pack Yugi. Spent a lot of time chasing that one down. Cards like Magician's Combination, which I'm very excited to play with the new support. I have an original Dark Flare Knight, other copy of Apprentice, and my ultra rare version of Dark Magic Attack. Some spellbook cards, the Fusion Deployment, which I've always stuck to calling the Poor Man's Magician Soul. And on the last page of this, we just have some more generic support cards, like my other copies of Dark Magical Circle, my Artemis, because you can never have too many, Relinquished Anima, and my Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. Okay, so I would like to welcome everyone to the deck profile portion of this video. I've been wanting to show everyone my updated list for quite some time now. I've just been waiting for Ready Fusion to come out, as I have decided to include it in my list for a couple of reasons, and we will talk about those reasons once we get there. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start off with the monsters. I'm still playing one Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. I do still believe that until the new support comes out, that we do still lack starter cards. So until we get the new support, I'm going to go ahead and just keep this engine in here. I'm still playing, obviously, the 3 copies of Magician's Souls, along with the 3 copies of Magician's Rod. That is going to round up our regular monsters here, normal summons type deals here. We are going to go into our other cards. We have 2 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. Excellent extender, prevents your Dragoons and your Dark Magician's fusions, your Rods, Dark Magician, anything you have on the board from being able to be attacked over. Do still like this card at 2 a lot. We have 2 copies of the Man himself, 2 Dark Magicians. Pretty much never believe in playing 3 of this card, always believe in playing 2, so I'm going to stick with that for now. we have 1 copy of Dark Magician Girl and 1 copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon, just to make sure we can get the full benefit of Soul Servant and the Dark Magician's fusion, and obviously Red Eyes Black Dragon is going to be for our Dragoon. Next, going into cards that are defensive, we tried out something different this time. We actually tried out 3 copies of Gamma and Driver. We do have a lot of cards in our deck that activate without having monsters on the field, cards such as that of Dark Magical Circle, Soul Servant, Magician Soul's Effect in Hand, as well as Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. So them ashing your Engage and you chaining Gamma will mean that you go full Dragoon combo on top of having an Omega to rip a card from their hand and be able to continuously put your Soul Servant back into your graveyard. Very good engine. This also by itself can make a Dragoon, as we do play Link Spider, so you can link this into Link Spider, go straight into Dragoon from there. I still play 3 of each of what I consider to be probably the best hand traps right now. 3 Ghost Bell and 3 Phantasme. These cards keep putting in work for me. I'm going to keep them in my list until they phase out. I still like these cards more than Ash. Spells, we have 3 copies of Soul Servant. Still 2 copies of Dark Magical Circle. Still never wanted a third. There have been a couple times when I was testing out with 1 that I did want the second one, so I've decided I think 2 is the perfect number. Moving into the new addition for the deck, we have 2 copies of Ready Fusion. I'm going to explain a little bit more of this when I get to the extra deck portion. We have 1 Magicalized Fusion, 1 Spellbook of Secrets, 1 Spellbook of Knowledge, 1 Called by the Grave, 1 Secrets of Dark Magic, 1 Red Eyes Fusion. We have 1 Upstart Goblin, 1 Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, and 1 Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones. Pretty much my spell count, aside from Ready Fusion, hasn't really changed a lot. Then the last card, we have 1 copy of Eternal Soul, because that is all that you need. Going into the extra deck, you're going to see that we have a Sky Striker Ace Skagari and a Sky Striker Ace Kaina, along with a Link Spider to go along with this package for the Sky Striker combo. Which if you don't know, make sure you check out my other videos for all the combo videos, as well as the explanations and the theory behind the decks. We have 2 Verde Anacondas. The second one still continues to come up, so I'm going to keep playing 2. We still have 1 Mduck, the World Chalice Dragon. We still play Artemis. Artemis will always be included. We're going to leave the Ready Fusion targets to last. We still play 2 copies of Dragoon and 1 copy of the Dark Magicians. That rounds off our normal portion of the extra deck. Going into new additions, we have 1 Psy-Frame Lord Omega. Naturally, we make this card with Gamma, but you can also make this card with Ready Fusion, with Magician's Rod, with the Sea Monster of Theseus. It is very nice to have other lines of play besides Dragoon, and there are certain times when I would go for this card over Dragoon. Very strong being able to recycle any of your banished cards with Omega, as well as taking a card out of your opponent's hand is always a plus. And I also play 1 Math Mech. You can make this card with Dark Magician and Theseus. This card hasn't come up yet. I might end up cutting this for Dragon Knight, as where I play there are a lot of Dogmatica players beginning to pick up. And there are a lot of times when if you get Maximus, you can send Dragon Knight and Mduck. So if you have Magicalized Fusion, you already have a Dragoon play. Because Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight's name is Dark Magician in the graveyard. So I'm going to keep trying this guy out, though. I do like this card a lot. And the last 2 I play are 1 Darkfire Dragon and 1 Striker Dragon. I was testing out Cayman Wizard, but I came to the realization that these are actually just better because they are dragons. So pretty much Ready Fusion turns a non-effect monster into an effect monster towards your Verde Anaconda. So that is the updated build of the deck. I'm going to keep testing out this build for a while, and just waiting on the new support to come out. Definitely excited for that. Can't wait for that to come out. So I hope everyone enjoyed the deck portion of this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please post them in the comment section down below. I try to respond to all of my comments if I can. And if you need any help or have any questions, please just let me know. I'll get back to you.
As
As I sit here and I watch all of these videos, I've been marathoning my own series from episode 1 up until my most recent episode, number 7. And the amount of growth that has happened since that video is just, I just can't even, it's indescribable how much I have learned since day 1. I remember the very first time someone told me that if you flip Eternal Soul with the effect and a Ghost Bell, it leaves the field, but if it's already on the field prior, it stays. And I remember that was just a game changer for me because I had just never known this before. And it does make sense after that it was explained to me. And I just remember thinking about how it's the small interactions, it's those small bits of knowledge that on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey that you need to take advantage of, that you need to remember. Everyone knows that Tri-Brigade has graveyard effects and they have Revolt, but do you know those really small, obscure interactions that most people don't know? And I think that's the way that you win a lot more games in Yu-Gi-Oh! You know those interactions, those rulings better than anyone else about your deck. That way that you can take advantage of those things, that you don't flip Eternal Soul and get Ghost Spell and it leaves the field, that you activate it. And then at Resolution, special summon. So if they Ghost Spell, you don't lose your Eternal Soul. Those interactions, those small interactions, and this is something that I like to revisit when I tell folks about the Johnny Lee video, is that is also one of his pieces of advice, is to take advantage of the technicalities that you normally wouldn't see. Don't forget about things like on turn 1, your opponent gammas you. If you can get into Dragoon, you can destroy both and deal damage before you even start your turn. Don't forget things like that. Those are going to be the things that are going to propel you forward in the game. And the sooner that you can kind of get out of bad habits of things as well, the better. So a lot of times what I try to do is really think about cards like Phantasme. If I'm summoning it into a board, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to put it in defense position because most things that can get over his defense can also get over his attack, and then I'm going to take damage from the attack. So know when to put things into defense. Know when it's okay to put things in attack position. Know when it's appropriate to try to bluff something when it's not. Everything like that. And I would just like to say as a closing statement that I've just been so overcome with just happiness and joy from the successfulness. Is that a word? From how successful this channel has been in such a short amount of time. And it's all thanks to you guys. I really can't thank you guys enough for your endless support, your messages, your comments. It's what's really kept me going and kept me motivated to make videos like this. And this isn't the end of the Dark Magician journey. This is the introduction to Dark Magician. This was supposed to be the time I take to learn this deck, learn those interactions, learn how to build the deck. And there is definitely going to be a lot more Dark Magician on this channel in the future. And I hope that everyone will come back and join me for that. And I look forward to sharing all of my newfound information with you guys every single week. When I first picked up Dark Magician, I'd been playing the deck for probably 3 months before I ever made that first initial video. And I remember going 0-5 at my first locals playing Dark Magician and just coming home and feeling so discouraged. And little by little, week by week, we started to learn more. We managed to connect with some other players online that are also very passionate about Dark Magician and take tips from other YouTubers, not necessarily just on Dark Magician, but just deck building and side decking theory in general. What cards should I put in? What cards should I side out every time? And all of that information definitely helped us succeed in our goals. Week after week, we started to see little growth, going from 1 and 4 to 2 and 2, and eventually all the way up to 4, 5, and 0. So definitely keep in mind that taking small steps in your Dark Magician journey, or whatever journey you decide to go on with your Yu-Gi-Oh deck, is very important. You don't want to try and take too big of steps too quickly, as setting the bar that high for yourself is almost seemingly going to be setting yourself up for failure, which you don't want to do. You want to have small goals that you can achieve easily and build up your own confidence and just tackle those goals just little by little, one step at a time.
Consider going on your own Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
Be sure to summon Cyber Dragon on your own Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
On your Yu-Gi-Oh journey, always special summon in defense mode. That way you don't get Lightning Storm unless you're going to OTK them.
Be sure to use protection on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey. Dragon Shield Sleeves, the #1 brand to protect your deck.
Read your cards, read your opponent's cards, and if you have any questions about comprehension, don't feel afraid or embarrassed to call a judge and ask for clarification.
On your Yu-Gi-Oh journey, showering is not an option.
Remember that anything that you dedicate a lot of time to, you're going to be better at than people who don't dedicate as much time to it. And Yu-Gi-Oh is the same way. The more time you dedicate to it, the better off you'll be in the long run, and the better you'll be compared to people who don't spend as much time as you do. Remember that on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey. You get out of it what you put into it.
Don't forget to top deck engage on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
Remember to always read your opponent's cards in your Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
Don't forget to link your rod into Artemis before you pass turn on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey. Except if Anaconda is still legal, then just make that.
Always bring pen, paper, calculator, and everything you need before you go to an event. It's always better to be prepared.
Learning chain links. That could be very beneficial. Very beneficial. Learning how interactions work. For instance, Super Poly is a hell of a card. So just chain that into anything and you're fine. Right?
Remember, if you can make 2 monsters, or summon 2 monsters, you can make birthday. If you can make birthday, you can pay 2,000, summon Dragoon. And almost hard to win against Sky Strikers. Until Dragoon gets banned or Sky Strikers plays Mystic Mine and then you lose, but I mean, until then, just summon Dragoon and win. Enjoy this journey.
Whether you win or lose, play a stronger opponent or a weaker opponent, always remember to be kind on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
Make sure you find a deck you'll enjoy when starting your Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
And read your cards in, again, for fun.
Yeah.
Bored laying in bed, read your cards.
Yeah.
It's just, that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned as someone who's only been playing for like 4 weeks.
The sheer number of archetypes, card combos, and gimmicks that exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is nothing short of overwhelming. So, as a newer returning player, buckle up, prepare to lose a lot, and eat the elephant that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Barrier to entry, one bite at a time, on your Yu-Gi-Oh! journey.
Hey guys, listen, on your Yu-Gi-Oh! journey, my advice is to play decks that you know and play decks that you enjoy. Just because a deck is meta doesn't mean that it's the best deck for you. So play something you know and that you enjoy and something you can have fun with. That's my advice.
The #1 rule, guys. Read
your
cards.
Howdy y'all, it's Neshi, and my #1 tip for any new or returning Yu-Gi-Oh players is to get involved in a community as quickly as possible. Find a day in the week where you're able to go out to locals and meet some new duelists there. If there's a group afterwards who's going to dinner, say, hey, can I tag along with you guys? Just don't be afraid to make some friends, and that's where you're going to have the most fun and enjoyment in the game. Go out and meet some new duelists on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
With enough practice, patience, and experience, you'll become the player you set out to be on your own Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
To give you one advice, I would recommend you to stick with one deck, but still try to experiment with as many decks as possible so you at least know how to counter them.
Always remember to keep track of your life points on pen and paper in addition to calculator, because when it comes to events and to when tracking life points, judges will always take pen and paper over calculator, especially if your calculator dies. Just always remember this little tip on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
Be sure to not take the game too seriously when you are just getting into it. Look at it more as an opportunity to make some friends, enter these communities, and have fun with it. I mean, it's a game at the end of the day. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyed. And I think that if you hyper-focus on winning, especially as you're entering into something, it's not generally the best attitude. So have fun. Enjoy learning and just getting to meet new people on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey.
I had to give any new or returning Yu-Gi-Oh player one small piece of advice before starting their Yu-Gi-Oh journey. I would say always have fun. Always enjoy it. Look forward to your locals. Look forward to spending some time with your friends. Those trips after locals to get food. It's things like this in your life that you're going to remember 10, 15, 20 years from now and look back and say, wow, I really had so much fun. And that's kind of what I try to take home at the end of the day after tournaments. It doesn't matter if I go 10-0 or 0-10. It's the time that I spent with my friends and my family, the laughs that I had, the stories that were made. This is things that we can talk about infinitely down the road with each other. And I think that is what I would like for everyone to try to take home. Always have fun and always make memories that you will never forget on your Yu-Gi-Oh journey. Oh, well, hello there. I didn't realize that you stuck around for the after credits portion of this video, considering that it is a Yu-Gi-Oh video and not a Marvel movie. I had an idea that I was going to give you guys a little sneak peek of the next deck that I'm going to be bringing you a lot of content with, but I'm actually running quite late, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not, so you may just have to stick around and see for yourself. So, see you guys later.